Hi everyone, welcome back to PigzTV. I'm Pigs, and today we've got something really exciting lined up for you. We're kicking off a brand new series of Beyond All Reason new player exposure videos, where we'll explore the transition from single player to multiplayer games. But that's not all. We're teaming up with the awesome folks over at AllReasonNoLogic for a collaboration we want you to miss. Together, we'll dive into a series of games examining everything starting out to talking on the completion of series strategy. So grab your snacks, hit the subscribe button, and let's jump right into it. PigzTV and Twig from All No Reason No Logic.
Welcome everyone to the front lines of Beyond All Reason, where the metal flows like coffee on a Monday and players clash in a glorious 1 vs 1 lane battle. In this video, we're focusing on you, the brave new player stepping into the world of multiplayer combat. You're about to witness the dance of destruction where players march up to the middle of the map to duke it out, often in a style that looks like a lane-based tug of war, but with a lot more explosions. To keep things simple, we've set up a 1 vs 1 on the infamous Sinkhole network, equal economies for both teams, so no one can blame their lack of metal for the loss. We're looking at you economy microers out there. The goal here is to show that even with the same amount of shiny metal in the bank, changing up the unit compositions can tip the balance of a battle. So I'll hit play on the game and we'll get into it. Kicking things off, we've chosen to both start with our trusty T1 light assault bots. The grunts in blue and the pawns in red. Comparing these two units, the pawns cost 25% more, but they clearly have been going to CrossFit on the weekends. They're faster and hit harder than their counterpart. They're ideal for sprinting and making some quick bacon out of the enemy, but the grunts, well, they may not be as flashy, but they're 12 metal cheaper and you can build 4 grunts for the price of 3 pawns. Plus my personal favourite, grunts outrange pawns with a range 230 to 180. So the grunts are the archers in a world of swordsmen. And if you've got good reflexes, you can micro them to keep a safe distance, just like we're seeing here. Just like a piggy avoiding the butcher, except I'm the piggy in this one. Just trying to keep away from pigs' grunts. So although micro can win these early engagements, the grunts and pawns won't exactly bulldoze through static defense. You can see pigs just setting up their LLTs there. So how do we beat the grunts or the pawns? Enter aggravators, and in the case of Armada, the Rocketeers. I've brought some aggravators into the mix to show us how a quick unit swap can change the game. And you can see how quick they're just knocking those pawns to the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. I can obviously when I was playing it, I could only see what I could see and not like the full vision what we can see now. What I've realised in my place, and it's because obviously I'm the newbie in this is I actually have, as you'll see there, the pawns and the Rocketeers the wrong way around, because obviously the Rocketeer can fire further, and the pawn is less than the grunt. So when you put the grunts in front, I'm going to get hit before I'm even going to get anywhere. So that's something that in my play that I have to remember to do and push them the other way. Because obviously I was thinking that, oh no, because the Rocketeers, even though it's a unit that's slower, it's a more valuable unit in sense of the pawn.
Mm-hmm.
But actually it's you need to push the other way around, which is obviously you've done. But I'm not watching yours. I'm obviously watching mine. So that's something
you can see here. What you want to do is, if you select all these rocket bots, you want to hold down Shift and you select like a couple lines and make sure you've got the repeat button clicked. And you can duck and dive them inside and outside of the LLTs, or in my case, I'm using the grunts. So the grunts are those cannon fodder like that, and the stronger unit, the more important unit, the aggravator, is staying alive. Now just looking over here,
Sorry, because you just mentioned that. Now that's something I didn't know. What can you let the know to the viewer? You've selected that and selected the repeat. What's that repeat? What's that to do? What's the idea of selecting that repeat button?
So like holding down shift, I'm clicking there and then I'm clicking there. Obviously I can't show you in game, but I'm clicking 2 places, and what's going to happen is those units are just going to keep repeating between those locations. So I put one behind my grunts and one in front of my grunts, and they'll keep walking back and forth.
It's a bit like a patrol.
That's it.
In a way, yeah.
And they'll just keep moving no matter what.
But you're not using that as a patrol button.
And pro tip, if you set that up, the back and forth with repeat commands with multiple waypoints, you can spend the time while units are doing that to go back to your eco and make sure you're not running out of fumes. Make sure you continue that expansion. I can see my tanks coming out now. So as you can see, some clever micros snowballed the aggravators into a somewhat unstoppable force. Now I'm ready to break that front line, but for the sake of drama and education, we're mixing things up with a T1 tank transition. So I've gone to my back line and I've reclaimed the lab with the bot and the construction turrets in the back line, and I've built a frontline tank lab.
And
so
I've
used the commander's build
now,
power as well.
If you go to the back and see what I'm actually doing, so you could, at the moment I've only still got obviously 1 lab, and my lab is all that away, so obviously it's going to take longer to get. It's not some of the pawns are a lot faster, so as you can see they outrun, but obviously the further away from the actual front you're going to take longer anyway. So you've already in a sense you've moved yourself forward, which is an advanced. It's not a pros will do it, and the thing is, but anybody now we see what I'm doing, instead of like thinking, because I was like, well, what do I do? I was stuck. I didn't really understand what to do from here, which is obviously something that you're firing your obviously the light artillery, which is up, which is obviously, well, if I just, so basically my units are now cannon fodder.
That's it.
And
essentially,
I was like, what do I do?
Yeah, essentially tanks beat units. The game's like rock paper scissors, but the tanks are both the rock and the scissors, and pigs are our paper. So we've gone for the pounder Wolverine combination to take trades at almost 100% efficiency, because those pounders, they just take so many hits, and I don't think I'll lose one in this instance. And the large number of Wolverines in the background just have such a high DPS. I'm actually doing more damage to my own tanks in this instance, but I can clean out your towers. Those Wolverines will outrange any T1 defenses except for the big guns like the Gauntlet or the Agitator. And at this stage of the game, with your defenses being eaten away, we are transitioning to the brutes. You can see mine have just come up now. It's more suitable to get a unit like a brute. Armada's got the stout as well. It can be used to quickly invade space. It's got quite high speed. But you don't want to just blind. You don't want to just blind charge in.
The actual thing is already. I mean, this game is already over. It's already over. If you rush me now, that'd be it. But you're just holding now because you don't. I mean, in some respects, you don't know what I've got behind that little line. I might be saying, right, just stop there, and I'll just. Sometimes I think this game's about goading people as well. In the sense of, I've got all this, but I'm not letting you. No, I'm, giving you a false sense of security by sitting back and waiting for you to come forward, and then I'll pounce on you, which you don't know. And that's another ploy that obviously better players like you can use.
Yeah, and that's probably a good time to add, like in the grand multiplayer battlefield, the lanes that are getting captured, like in Instant Yours, if you have the neighbours down here. So a couple of things, I've got to make sure that if I'm moving forward, that lane player doesn't sneak in my back line. At the same time, when I'm moving forward, if I do meet resistance, you might have another bunch of towers back here somewhere. That's where I have to maybe look at going around and entering your neighbour's back line rather than mine. Rather than your back line.
As you can see now, Twigs got into massive in the back line where all my ecosystem is. Because I didn't protect it.
One good play you do here that a lot of new players don't do is reclaiming units around your eco with those construction turrets. So that was a good little defense that you did there. One thing I did as well that I didn't mention was I had, I think, 6 or 7 brutes, and I split them into a group of 3 and a group of 4 and made sure I was focusing on 2 different fronts with them, knowing that you didn't have any more units coming out. So that's pretty much it.
You're just one other thing going forward.
We're not doing it this game, but build the Lazarus in there, or the Grave Robber in my instance, to make sure you reclaim the battlefield. You can also use your constructors and your commander as well, of course.
I mean, that's something that really new players, where you see one chef. I mean, I'm now with 3 chevrons, so I know a bit more, because obviously the guys at AllReasonNoLogic and Twig and some of the other guys have been sort of holding my hand and teaching me the ways to play, which is great. Which is, that's why I'm, even though maybe it doesn't look here, I am getting better as I learn more. So that's the thing to, don't get disheartened on you're playing against somebody.
He's absolutely right. So he's getting better, and we'll probably see that. We've got another series coming out where we'll be playing 1v1s on a regular basis, and Pigs will be employing the new tactics he learns, and eventually I'm sure he'll beat me in 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, well, that'll be a day. That'll be a yes, But I'm sure the other lads that are hopefully going to do this, they'll be egging things on as well. So, but we'll see. But we hope they. I mean, it's not just that; it's also for a new player like this to understand. As it's also you have to walk before you can run. It was the analogy that I like to use. Is it's easy to play but difficult to master, and it's all the steps. The start of the game is so important to get right, which is what you've been teaching me. We've played a few games against the AI, and I've just gone to pieces, and you've said, why did you do that? In the last game you played really well. So it's them things to take forward, and this is why we hope you watch these and take note, and then do your own thing, but take note of them anyway.
That's it. And just to recap, you can see here we actually started only around this point in time at the end of the chart, and you can see the difference in damage dealt versus received, and that just all comes down to that micro and making sure that you're always taking efficient trades. If you can't take an efficient trade, it is better to retreat a little rather than just simply lose your units and essentially donate metal to the other team. We hope you've liked this one. Anything else to add, Pigs?
No, I think we've definitely covered the bases, and I hope you enjoy it and come back for some more. Bye for now.
See you next time.